Sama, or whirling, as a pillar in the path of substantial evolution. There is a connection between the whirling cosmos and a whirling seeker. This connection is established to the center of perception of a person in the brain of the person through the sense of hearing. This is because the center of hearing of a person is itself within a sphere of audio waves, as this center is able to detect and record whatever sound are present around the body in all directions. This sphere of detection only exists for our sense of hearing, as our other senses have a more limited field of detection that do not create a full sphere. That is why, in the path of substantial evolution, the sense of hearing plays an important role in bringing information to the seeker from the absolute invisible world to the relative invisible world around the person through Sama, or whirling. The word Sama means hearing, but hearing that relates to transfer of information through inner vibration. That is to say, vibrations that are not detected by our eardrums, but nevertheless penetrate our sense of perception for audio sounds in our brain and also in our heart, that are able to produce deeper inner states. Reciters who have knowledge of these inner vibrations are able to, through playing of certain rhythms or recitations, produce these inner vibrations that energize people's hearts and their astral bodies to a state that the astral body of the person rotates around the person's physical body, which in turn makes the person whirl. The concept of Sama exists in all different Sufi traditions, where Sama is accompanied with bodily movements. These movements can be lateral movements from left to right, or where the body is kept straight and the head moves back and forth, or the movement is a type of dance. So there are varieties of Sama one can observe in different Sufi traditions across many countries like Morocco, Tunisia or Egypt, amongst different types of Sufi orders, where Sama is conducted through music and recitation. However, the whirling Sama does not exist within all Sufi traditions. The whirling Sama originated in Khorasan and then traveled to other parts of the world. During the Ottoman Empire, because of many Mevlevi Sufi houses were created in different parts of the empire, like the Balkans, this whirling Sama grew within many regions of the empire. But Rumi or Maulana, who was the originator of the Mevlevi Sufi order, he himself brought this whirling Sama from his homeland in Khorasan. So from here on, we would focus only on the whirling Sama and not other types of Sama that existed centuries before in other Sufi traditions around the world. Furthermore, there are many verses in the Quran that relate to these types of Sama that have never been mentioned before in relation to Sama. So why did the whirling Sama come to originate in Khorasan and spread around the world? The reason is that the whirling Sama existed in this region within other traditions long before the path of substantial evolution came to be referred to as Sufism. As in Khorasan, there were many temples dedicated to paths such as Buddhism and Shaolin teachings for many centuries, the remains of which can be seen today, even though the Taliban in this century destroyed the giant Buddha statues and other important remains. Within the Lama Buddhist traditions, there are many yoga practices, which are known as Tibetan yoga. As in this tradition, one of the pillars of spiritual evolution is whirling, where through rhythms and inner vibrations the energy within the seeker's solar plexus are energized as a result of whirling. These whirling practices were part of each seeker's daily activities. In this practice, the student would stand and hold out his or her hand straight and then, in a clockwise direction, turn. This practice is one of the pillars of the path, as this practice is a part of the path of substantial evolution of body and soul, for the body is a temple of the soul and thus development of both are necessary. As in the Quran, in reference to the creation of man, it first stresses the creation of the body like a potter who builds a jar, and then the entry of the soul into the body like a breath that is blown into a jar. It is when this process is completed that the angels are asked to prostrate to man. So the act of prostration is not solely directed to the body or the soul of a man, but to the combination of body and soul. Therefore, the evolution of man towards the point of perfection and meeting of one's Lord is also a stepwise evolution of body and soul. Thus, one cannot simply focus on one aspect of man. Consequently, we can't simply remove Sama from the path of substantial evolution of man and replace it with superstition and dogma. If we do, then the path is no longer the path of substantial evolution, as the path of substantial evolution contains principles and pillars that must be observed in order for it to remain a path of substantial evolution of body and soul.